Can I have your attention? These beaches are officially closing for today. That means absolutely no more swimming. Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to Lifeguards Off Duty with Dr. Michael Katchmar. Today's date is June the 14th, the year of our Lord, 2023 AD.
Why do you sound sad?
I'm tired, man. I'm beat up. I worked out. I mean, I've been...
Did you have a rough day?
No, it's just I rode around West Pine Island. I did a ton of rowing. I did swimming in the bay. I worked all day.
Yesterday, why don't we drop in your boat in the bay?
Soon. I mean, that's ready to go.
I was like, it's full of garage stuff.
No. Oh, that boat. Well, there's two boats down there I'm using right now, lava left boats. But then yesterday I rode, I worked out, I had surgery all day. I mean, I got in the morning, I worked out, I rode, I swam, and then 1:30 I started surgery.
But when are we launching the Katchmar boat?
I don't know.
Have you named that thing?
No.
Why not?
First of all, where am I going to launch it? For what reason? I could use Lavolette's boats. I mean, I don't need my boat right now. They got beautiful boats there, and it's a beautiful venue, so we don't need another boat.
Yeah, but
I can't go use their boats. I can use your boat.
Well,
your boat's collecting dust right now.
Yeah. Well, it's an heirloom. They're going to start, the Ore House, I heard, is going to start, they're supposedly going to buy the mold and start making them. That's what somebody's telling me. Yeah.
Nice, drive the price down
I bet
a
you
little
that,
bit.
no, I bet you that boat will be 20 grand when they start making them. Easy.
You think?
Yeah.
They'll be more expensive?
Yeah.
Initially,
That's
but
bullshit.
It'll definitely go down.
I don't know. It's the labor's more, the material's more.
Yeah, but if they're adding boats to the market, it'll depreciate.
No, we'll see. But anyway, just want to say hello, everyone. We have a special guest today from our beach patrol. We're gonna hold off on his identification at this point. So it's a secret. We got Tyler.
Stay quiet.
Hello, Tyler.
What's up?
Tyler, you look good today. I mean, you always look good, but you don't have that heavy beard, But I don't know. Are we allowed to have facial hair anymore? I don't know what the deal is. This is
I'm rocking facial hair.
There's Cole, and there's I like the
I
you got the
shave
scrub.
my facial hair.
Yeah, no. So
Did you say you forgot to shave your facial hair?
No, I said I had to shave it. I was forced to right before roll call the other day.
Oh damn.
Well, we have this thing where the leadership is every beach patrol is trying to decide what's appropriate look for a lifeguard. I mean, I don't know. I tell you, in the military, facial hair some places is acceptable, some places it's not. You certainly long hair on a woman or a man needs to be tied up if you're going to make a rescue when you're swimming in the water, it gets in your eyes. But that's another whole issue. So anyway, I just want to say hello to everyone. Thank you for tuning in. So this is Scrubbing Up. Excuse me. This is Lifeguards Off Duty. I have another show. This is Lifeguards Off Duty with Dr. Michael Katchmar. If you want to get a hold of us, you could contact us at
Katchmar@icloud.com.
Right. It's right on the bottom here for the people on our Spotify. You don't see that. You can really tune in to our webpage or go to our YouTube video and see it. But anyway, give us a comment. You can always send us an email. And we're working right now. We've had a busy couple weeks. The ocean was kind of busy for Memorial Weekend, and there was several drownings, unfortunately. And we always really are upset when there's a drowning because we think that. And I think that most lifeguards, almost all these drownings are preventable, especially very uncommon for a person to drown when there's a lifeguard on duty. So we always say never swim without a lifeguard on duty. We want to throw out talk about one case. I just want to go to it before we get to our guest. And this is a real tragic story. So this was last Friday. I was working on the beach, and this occurred in a beach about 15 miles, maybe 20 miles north of us, called Avon by the Sea in New Jersey. And it was 8:30 in the morning, and there was it turned out to be a New York City fireman with his daughter, and she went in the water, and it was actually a nice morning. It was sunny, it was warm, the water was very calm, and she started to get in trouble. I think she was near a jetty, for people who don't know what a jetty is, it's a bunch of rocks that go out, and it kind of helps to protect the beach. Unfortunately, near a jetty, even when it's very calm, the water could move there. And water moves out. It goes out, straight out. And it could pull you out. Anyway, he went in after her. He's a New York City fireman, and he drowned. They got her out, but they didn't get him. Can we take a look at the? So we have a little video clip here, and I just want to show you. So let's go with the. You want to do the video clip first, and then we could look at him. Yeah. So just play.
I didn't know there was a video clip. Watching.
Yeah. Can you hit that up or no? You don't think that was the video clip? That thing right there is a video clip. Yeah, it is a clip.
So, but you haven't seen the video? Just clarifying, Cash?
Yeah. No, I did. Okay. That's what I'm saying. It's a video. I watched this. That's why I'm. Can you put this sound up or no?
Oh, definitely not.
Here. It's not going through. Oh, yeah. See it?
I don't even know if we can use this sound, Cash.
Okay.
I don't know why we're doing it either.
All right. Well.
No, it's going through.
No, it'd be up here. It's not.
Yeah, no, the people can hear this.
But will they?
What, are we gonna get flagged for this? Yeah, probably.
All right.
Yeah. I mean, we're not gonna get wlagged. It's just where the video get taken.
So just stop for. There's a jetty.
We're risking it for the biscuit.
Now you are looking now at video after the dad and daughter were both pulled from the ocean.
So the daughter tried jumping off the jetty or got swept off the jetty.
I don't think she got swept off the jetty. She went in the water near the jetty. You
Yeah.
can't climb out to that jetty. The jetty's out there, at that tide. It was high tide too, but the water cooks near a jetty, and it goes out. So I don't think she was walking on a jetty. He said she was in the water. Again, that's why I don't know exactly, but all I know is the facts are he's dead, and they got her out. So let's just profile him. I want to give a heads up to him and just say we're sorry. Prayers go out to the family, but I just show it. So this guy here.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah, you're.
I got a lot going on here, guys. I'm sorry.
So we have they did another article about him. And he's a New York City fireman. Here he is right here. Let's look at his uniform. Can you pull him up a little bit further? He's got and I don't know what he did. I mean, that's his. He's an EMT and he's a fireman. He's saves people's lives. So we want to just say, hey, listen, we really feel bad about it. There's not much to say other than he tried to save his daughter. It was heroic, and he died. I think all of us would do that. And it's just tragic. He's a fireman who saves people's lives. He goes into these burning buildings and everything. And anyway, it's a tragedy. So you could put that down. Just wanted to give a shout out to his family. And I think that I was thinking about this driving the other day. And would you think he should be? I think he was dying in the line of duty. I mean, he was making a rescue. And I think that's a point that should be brought up. And I know a lot of people talk about when things happen, but he tried to save a life, and that's what his job was, and he died doing it. So anyway, don't go in the water without lifeguards. There was another one, Memorial Weekend, a 15-year-old kid drowned up Sandy Hook, and there was no lifeguards on duty at that one. Another tragedy. Was there any other ones anybody know off the top of their head? I know there was some in a lake. There was one in a lake up in North Jersey, and there was a prank, for like I guess the senior, high school.
If anyone's curious, Cashmore does in fact look up on Google drownings in nearby.
Yeah, well, I think that's our job. I mean, it's like see from medicine standpoint, I look at cases, we look at things that happen. But so there's a bunch of high school kids, and they had they would give you these things to do. You have to go buy a watermelon and cut it up in 9 pieces. You got to swim across the lake. I don't know, for whatever it was some kind of contest, and this kid had to swim across the lake. Well, he never made it. This was just the other day, and he drowned, and it's a tragedy. And I got to tell people, you got to be very careful. People still don't understand. The water, even in a lake, you could drown. I mean, there's no currents, but you just go right down. But in the ocean, it's very, very dangerous. And they had some off-beach rescues during the week, I think, at LBI, Island Beach State Park. So that's something you got to be concerned about. Anything you want to add to that about
I think that town should shell up the money to have lifeguards on at the start of June.
Yeah, but you can't. What about after hours? Like this happened at 8:30.
But this stuff's also happening like during the day. This guy, you said it was 8:30 in the morning, right? Or was it 8:30 at night?
No, it's 8:30 in the morning. No lifeguards there yet.
Do we know if he was by himself or?
No, his daughter drowned. I mean, his daughter was drowning. Excuse me. His daughter got in trouble. So that was that. They were there on the beach. I think it's make his point. A lot of things are changing. For one thing, La Valette, which I think is a really primo beach.
I'm gonna put this
for the first time, I think in history, they opened up on Memorial Weekend. and they're doing weekends now, and they're gonna go full time Father's Day. They used to work. A lot of beaches used to open up 4th of July weekend and go to Labor Day, and that was it. Now there's a lot more people involved in watching the beaches. Lifeguards are being there more often. You have Seaside Heights Fire Rescue. They're very active. They're around. Triborough, when they came for the rescue that we had, that Sean was
And Cole.
they have they have all kinds of new equipment now. I mean, they got multiple trucks. So a lot of these towns are really beefing up on their equipment and their response. Up in Monmouth, we spoke to what's his name, the Seagirt captain, Tim Hartman, and they have a whole response team with the lifeguards. I think that's who went there. They shoot out an email and they came, responding. So think about how quick. I mean, there was no lifeguards on duty. Maybe they were setting up, but they saved the girl. She was drowning. He went after her. So tragically he died, but they saved her. So that's something. I mean, there was a call. But you're absolutely right, Tyler. The town should have lifeguards right off the bat and keep them as long as they need to have them. September, especially if the ocean's big, and like us, we have 2 jet skis. They're ready to go. That was another thing. There was there was a Sean's giving us a face there. I just saw on Instagram there was a post with the Seaside Heights rescue team, and they doing a rescue, and there was a lot of comments, actually some negative comments, because they come up on the beach. This is a good one. I should have posted the Instagram on our thing, and when they come on the beach, Seaside Heights Fire Rescue, they go to different beaches. So wherever they go, not every beach is the same. So what happened they went to State Park, and they parked the truck up top on a berm, and they had to push the jet ski. They had like 9 guys there, a pretty long distance, maybe 25 yards to hit the water. So people commented, why don't they put the truck right up there? Well, the thing is, when you drive that jet ski, we have a sled that's just basically for the beach. The sled we have, you're not going to hook it to the back of a van and drive it down the road. So they're different. They have one that's more for the road. You can't put that in the water. First of all, you'll damage it. And number 2, it's going to get stuck. And then they got the guys to push it. And also somebody commented why they all have wetsuits on, like dark. It should be light. It's just stupid stuff like that. The water's 50 degrees here some days. But the thing is that jet ski is a great piece of equipment, but you can't have it at every beach. At the beck and call. Obviously, now, interestingly, Lavallette's getting a jet ski again. They had one years ago. They're getting another one. But our jet skis are there. We launch them if we can. I know that jet ski is a lot of maintenance. I know you're making a face. It's a lot of maintenance. It's a lot of maintenance, and that's why I still like to have a boat. But anyway, the point of the story here is that we are getting better. The whole system's getting better. There's more people involved. There's more awareness. There's people who now with their cell phones, they see somebody in water, they call up. So I think it's a good thing, but still we have these tragedies, and we just throw this out there because maybe somebody will listen to this and maybe will say, don't go in the water. It was a calm morning. You remember that? Did you work last Friday?
No.
Did any of you guys work last? Cole, did you work last Friday?
Yeah, I worked last Friday.
Right. It was like
Cole. Who's Cole?
Yeah. Oh, wait.
Oh, let's say hello,
Get the
Cole.
proper introduction.
Yeah. Well, again, but here's the thing, though. It was a very calm. Let me finish this conversation. It was a very calm morning. It was very deceiving, and I could see how they went in the water. He probably didn't think there was anything wrong, but where the mistake was made is even in a calm day like that, the jetties, when the water hits the jetty, it bounces off the jetty and goes straight out. And there's almost always a run near a jetty. And they're very dangerous. Plus, there's a lot of times there's a hole there. Because the water carves out a run. So there's always a run either on each side of the jetty. There's a lot of drownings. The last drowning they had in Spring Lake was next to the jetty. A 15-year-old kid died. That was about 3 years ago. So, it's a tragedy. Anyway, so let's introduce, Sean, who wants to introduce our guest?
Do you know who our guest is, Cashmore?
Yes, I do.
He's already mentioned me, though, so.
What's that? I mentioned him, right, but you're going to introduce him. Tell us, so you want to introduce him?
This is Aidan Cole of Seaside Heights. We work with him. Cole, what year is this for you?
This is my 5th year lifeguarding.
Whoa!
Isn't that crazy? Even Cashmore is surprised about that.
Well, I didn't know that. Yeah. I call him King Cole. So go ahead. So that's, Sean, you want to?
You grow up so fast, kid.
I know, right? Now I can finally grow facial hair.
Not really.
Well, yeah.
So now you're 5 years. Wow.
Yeah, no, it goes by really quick.
Wow. So
Cole
Cole,
was a JLG too.
what's that?
Cole was
Yeah,
a JLG.
yeah.
I
Oh,
was
was
his
he?
counselor.
Yeah,
Oh, really?
Tyler was my counselor for a few years. Same with Jesse Brown.
So how many years did you do junior lifeguarding for?
I did it for about like 3-4 years.
Great.
Yeah,
That's
so-
Yeah,
good.
you came in like a little older than most of the
Yeah.
group, right?
Yeah, so my name's been in the system here for
What'd
a
you
while.
What'd you think about our junior lifeguard program? Did it prepare you?
At first, back then when I was very like small and all I did was run, I just thought it was easy. But now I probably couldn't even finish half the workouts these kids are doing there. So
Bro, you're a college soccer player.
You couldn't
can't run as-
compete with the junior lifeguards now.
Yo, this kid was like a little freak though. We used to at the first day of junior lifeguards, we would always do a timed mile run.
Yeah.
And it would be you and like you never did it with
Caputo.
Danny, did you?
No, I did with Danny. We tied. That was the only time I've ever like came close to losing in that with Danny Caputo.
Wow, you kept up with him?
Yeah, and that was when he was really quick. Like we were both like probably the same weight, same height too. So
Yeah,
it
so
was a good race.
for reference to anyone listening, Dan, who's been on the show, at like freshman year of high school, was being recruited by Oregon Track to come run cross country.
Yeah,
He's like
he was
like
ridiculous.
a absolute freak, like Olympic level athlete. I remember the first time he came in, I was like talking a lot of crap, like he had come to hang out with us the night before his first day.
Yeah.
And he was like telling me he's a good runner. I'm like, you're crazy, bro. Like, I'm the best runner on the beach. Come see me on the sand. And then we ran the next day, and he absolutely dusted me.
Like, was there even a chance, or
No, like
you were just,
even
like, halfway
even if it was like I will die for this, he would have beat me by like
so just off
200
straight
yards.
speed?
Straight just
He glided.
Talent.
Yeah, he glided across the sand.
Yeah, I remember one time in junior lifeguards, this had to be like a year before I started. There was a rescue like during the whole program, and then I just see Danny fly out with the red can in like 2 seconds, like fastest entry I've ever seen.
Yeah, he told me I was like he's like, I just don't get tired. I'm like, what's going on? Yeah, I don't get tired, bro.
Yeah,
It was
exactly.
weird.
Do you know Danny's employed because he's in a union, but you know he's not working right now?
Yeah, writer strike.
Yeah, yo, I didn't know that would affect him like that.
I wish the company I worked for would do a writer's strike.
So let me.
I'm not union. You don't get a union as a freelancer.
No. So Cole, I want to ask you. So we, because this is, Friday Memorial Weekend when we're setting up. We have 2 of the lifeguards here that were involved in a big rescue. So I think that's kind of a unique thing to talk about it. So Friday Memorial Weekend, we didn't have lifeguards on the stands. We didn't have the stands set up yet. Actually, they were on the beach, but we were just setting up. And I was there, and we were bringing 2 boats up, and we were getting equipment and basically, setting up the beach. So it was a very warm day. The ocean was really bad. There was some really bad rip currents. Actually, we didn't think it was going from low to high, and usually high tide is not that bad, but the runs were extraordinarily nasty, cranking. And people don't know what a run is. So I'm not going to explain it, but
If people are listening to this show, Cashmore, they know what a run is. By the
no,
way.
not necessarily. Somebody could be just tuning in. No, they may not know. You assume too much.
You assume too little.
You see- yeah, and I assume too little. Listen, I see
2 years are
Yeah.
tuning in to listen to this guy.
Listen,
so I'm sure
I
they don't
treat
know what a
patients
run
every
is.
day. You'd be surprised what people don't know. But anyway, so it was a really bad day, and we're doing the work. And I think, Cole, if I'm wrong or right, we instructed you to basically keep an eye on the water, like at the time? This one where the big rescue, where were you? So this is one
Let him
at
go.
Lincoln.
What do you got? What happened?
So tell us your story, your present,
So it was me, one of the other lifeguards, AJ Lumberg, who's tuning into the show right now, and another lifeguard named Caden Barker. So I sent them down on the quad to go clear people out by Blaine. And Blaine's like the side to the left of the pier, like closer to the pier. So then I was just like standing there looking, and I looked to the right, and right by Lincoln, and I kind of thought it was a beach down. I thought it was the next beach, Funtown. I just see it head out, like maybe close to 100 yards out, and I was like, whoa, like when did this guy get out there? So I instantly go on the radio, and I was telling, I go to Cap, I'm like, do you see this guy? It looks like he's a beach down, but And then once AJ and Caden got back, we just all went out there. And then this guy was just so far out by the time we got there. We were just like, we looked back to the shore and we were like, no way we just swam this far out.
Now, who swam out initially, Cole?
AJ went first and he got out there first. He flew through the rip.
That was Lumberg.
Yeah.
So I worked with his father. His father was a treasury agent, and so I'm working with the second generation. So go ahead.
And then
who else? So he took a loose. Who else went out?
And then
Barker.
Then Barker swam out, and then I just followed them just because we didn't have a rope box, and we were just gonna get one from the mule. So I swam out and took a red. We get out to the victim.
So now you got 3 reds out there.
Yeah.
You got 3 reds out there.
I was just out there like surveying.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead. You got a good workout.
So once we saw McKee actually swimming the rope out, we were just like, since AJ had the victim and Barker and me were just out there, me and Barker were just swimming in. So once I get to the shoreline, I look back and I see Barker just as far out as the victim. And I was like, oh, geez. And Cashmar's like, oh, we might need to get Barker too.
All right, so stop now. So let me give it now, going back in time. So I'm on the other side of the beach. There's a pier, so I'm probably almost a mile away, 3/4 of a mile.
Yeah.
And Sean is with me. This is Sean over here. Sean's with me, and Nico, right? It was Nico.
I'm not Nico.
No, Nico was with us. I know you're not Nico.
why am I
Well, I just push it. So Nico, and I'm with the mule, and we're trying to. We have an issue with the battery, so I'm trying to charge it. Again, we're not lifeguarding. We're trying. There's a million people on the beach. They're not supposed to be going in the water. It's rough. But anyway, so we hear that we have radios though. We always have radios. That's one of the most important things. God forbid we didn't have radios that day, but at least we had the radio. And our captain's like, "Hey, listen, we need guys down here." So Sean and Nico get on the mule. No, not the ATV. And take off.
Yeah, we whip around the pier and we go to Lincoln, where we were expecting a rope box to be taken out.
There was just no rope box.
There's no rope. So what did you do, Sean?
Future reference, Cole, we never need 3 rope cans for one person.
3 loose cans.
3 loose cans.
Yeah. So what happened? So
You
now
also
you pick
never
it up.
need 3 rope cans for.
You also never
That would
need
also
two.
be ridiculous.
But you pick up the Sean. So what you go down, because now I'm still over here on the other side. I didn't make a move yet. This is how long this crazy this rescue was. So you go down. They did a direct. They went in front of the pier, and thank God they got through, because it was getting high tide, and in the pier now the water hits the pilings. But they got through. You went all the way down. So they went almost a mile of beach. They got there. And tell me what happened, because we never talked about this.
We did talk about this, actually.
I don't remember. Me.
On
You
the
didn't
show?
talk to me.
On the show.
No. But I didn't hear this. Where'd you get the can? We didn't get the specifics. Like, you went down, then what happened?
I know we talked about this, but I'll go. Nico drops me off where one of you guys took the quad.
Yeah.
And he drops me off and says, "I'm gonna go get a rope box." I'm like, I have a radio, so I stand on their quad and just look at them the best I can, because you are fucking out there.
Yeah, it was far.
I know it feels like an eternity waiting for Nico to get the rope box, but he does it quick. It just in the moment.
Now I do remember this story.
Yeah, because I said that.
Yeah, but I don't remember that part.
Orated, that part.
You were probably so anxious just to swim it out.
Yeah, there was
at that
nothing.
point.
Like, I couldn't do anything. I could just stare at you guys.
Yeah, but the victim was
floating,
okay.
though.
I mean, they're
They're
floating.
We're all above
so-
water.
So you get the can, and then you shoot out.
Yeah.
Now, Cole's back on the beach at this time?
Cole is
No.
out there with them.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Cole's
you get
with the
out there.
victim with 3 red cans.
Okay, so you get out there, and who's out there, including the victim? Who's Lumberg's holding the victim?
Barker, and Cole.
Yeah.
Cole.
They're all 3. So then what do? You send, who do you send back? You send Cole back?
No, they are swimming
We
back
were
by the
just
time
swimming
I'm
back.
near.
Okay, so you get up there, they start going back.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I'm going to give you my perspective. Now, I'm down a mile away, so I say, I said, Rob, do you think you need me down? He goes, yeah, get down here. So now I'm delayed probably a good 5 minutes or 3-4 minutes after he leaves. I go the opposite way because I have the mule. I'm not going to go through the pier. So I have to go north, then I hit the road, I go on the street, all the way down, get on the beach, and go get. So again, about almost 3/4 of a mile to a mile. I get there, and they're just starting to pull in, but it's the run is like cooking so bad that they're having a hard time. So it was. I saw you, Sean, and Lundberg and the victim, so 3 U's. I saw Barker, which is another lifeguard, kind of off to the side, in between. He's coming in, but he was kind of a little bit to the left, or to my left. And it was you, Cole, and who's the other help pulling the rope in?
A lot. There was Luke. Who
No,
just
Luke.
was there.
One of the rookies who
It was
just
just
got
Luke.
hired.
So
Luke in sweatpants.
they got tired,
Pulling
right.
it in, yeah.
So what happened is, I started helping. I was yelling at Cole. Cole's pulling, like, come on, Cole, pull. Remember?
Yeah, he was yelling at me to pull.
I was like, come on, Cole. So anyway, we had to slow down to pick up Barker when he was coming in. And the thing is, we didn't even have time to check the ropes or nothing. We were just setting up the beach, and just as you guys got to the beach and put your feet up on the ground, the rope broke.
Yeah, when I was pulling the rope and it snapped, like the second it snapped, with my momentum, I just fell into the sand.
So
Cashmore had a front row view on that one.
So what I like about it is that we get the guy in. He's fine. He's a young guy.
Yeah, he was pretty positive about the whole thing.
Yeah, he saw Jesus. He was happy. But then, like, we're sitting around, we're getting the rope. I'm like, come on, guys, let's get going. Because there could be other rescues going on. This water's more dangerous than we really thought. And all of a sudden, the cavalry shows up. Seaside Heights Fire Rescue. 9 trucks come up. 100 guys. I'm exaggerating. Like 10 cops.
There were like 20 officials.
Triborough comes up with like 3 trucks. They're like, Where's the victims? Where's the victims? I'm like, what are you guys doing? It's all done. We've been done like for 10 minutes, It was good.
Yeah, I have to say, before my last transmission on the radio, someone's asking if we need like the jet ski to be launched, and I just go on the radio, no, I got this. Before I grab the yellow can and swim it out.
Well, somebody was yelling. Somebody was talking about Coast Guard. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, I was like,
listen, key it down. We've done this before.
It was far, but it wasn't that far.
It wasn't Coast Guard far?
No, it wasn't
but
Coast Guard far.
Well, we had a boat. We could take a boat out too. We
could have taken your boat.
Yeah, the water was bad, but it wasn't. Like,
Now, listen, before we had a jet ski, when we had rescues like this, where it was so far out we couldn't get a rope out if we didn't have a long enough rope, we launch a boat. It's not that hard to launch a boat in that run. No. Just as easy as you go out, you put that boat in a run, you get right out there, you turn around, you could row it back in a run. We would have got the guy in.
Are you confident you could pull off a rescue with a boat?
No. Straight.
I like that answer.
I don't think I can do it. Because it's not that I'm like bad at rowing. I just feel
don't
like
have
I
the
don't have
technique.
the confidence
No.
and the technique.
They don't have the training, and it's
Well, there's the whole technique of getting them in the boat as well. That's
yes.
Yeah.
I'd have no problem. I mean,
that probably hasn't been talked about in like 15 years.
No.
To anybody.
Well, we used to have we train. We're like, where do you bring the person in the boat? And really, the ideal place is to bring him in the stern, just like you do with everything else. But
who was the first person you rode with?
On the boat, I think it was Kelly or Brown. It was one of those two.
Okay.
Because I've definitely rode with both of them before.
Good teachers.
Yeah, no. One day, me and Jack Van Schoik were on the boat during workouts, and the water was pushing so far to the north. So when we go all the way. We rode from Hamilton, and then we went down to Lincoln.
Which is about how many blocks for the listeners?
2 to 3 blocks.
Okay.
And then we go all the way back down. But since the water was pushing north going this way, we flew in like 2 seconds back. And like getting from Hamilton to Lincoln was hard though. So then on our way back, like we had to fight it all the way from the pier back to I think Hamilton was where it was. So it took us so long. Like even like Shoik, I've never seen that man even close to panicking before, and that's probably the most scared I've ever seen him.
Really? Because you were going towards the pier?
No, it's probably because he was in the boat with me.
I was going to say, of course, Van Schrock's not going to be scared being in the boat, even if it's like, big surf. I'm like saying, why was he scared? I'm like, yeah, he's scared because that'll scare me too. Cole, if you're in the boat with me in this big ocean, I might be scared too. So
that's reminded me of when me and Henneke used to, like, when it was blowing like really hard, like northeast, we would jump in and just try swimming north, and we'd be like on a conveyor belt, and like we'd swim for like 2 minutes straight, and then pop our heads up and like not.
You probably
like
went backwards.
Yeah. We, like I say, and it's no bullshit. I could legitimately say that I did 2 heavy duty rescues where the cans were so far out, and we brought the people in. And the ones I did, is
In the boat?
Yeah, yeah. So we had one where the captain, Al Ayers, and then a guy went out. What happens? We had multiple rescues, and after the dust settled down, there was still a person with a can, a lifeguard with a person way out there. We just ran out of time, and and it was so far. At the time we got all the other rescues, this one was so far out, and it was so we decided to do the boat. Al Ayers was the captain, and somebody else went out, and they just got hammered on. They didn't make it. So I went out with another guy, Sam Britton, and we went out and we launched. And at the last wave we launched, but we got the person, and we got him in. And the ocean was so bad. All I remember about it, it must have been a southeast blow, because it was towards the end of the day, and we went north, and I went on the other side of the pier because we were close to the pier at that point, and I wasn't going to come in because fight, like he said, fight in the wind. So I went with the flow of the water and went to the north end of our beach, looked for a run, and I knew where the runs were. And that's another thing why you always.
So you brought in bow first?
No, stern. Bow first, yes, and right in the run, and right into the run, and right on the beach. Left the boat there, and I remember left the boat there. We pulled it up, and we got the victim out, and we ran. And as we were running down, we made another rescue. We still had because we had put our cans in the boat, and it was that crazy day. And then I had another one. I don't remember the other one, but in the early days, in the 70s and 80s, we used to make routinely raft rescues. So the captain at that time, John Boyd, and the assistant captain, Junie Boyd, which is the Boyd family, they owned on the beach. They sold umbrellas or rented out umbrellas, chairs, and rubber rafts.
Yeah.
And
those are just good.
Yeah, but here's the thing. People get on the rubber rafts and they get blown out on a west wind day. And you were obligated, you made sure to rescue the person and the raft. So you get the person, but they're floating out there. They can't get in.
You tie the raft to your little
leather
belt
so
over there.
They were great rescues because the ocean was real flat. You launch the boat. It's a lot of fun. You're getting off the stand. It's easy. You row out, and like you said, you got to know how to put the person on. But you get them in.
You got to kind of.
Yeah, one guy goes one side, the other guy, and so you stabilize the boat, and then you bring him over to the stern. But I used to bring him a little bit towards the bow on the stern, but on the side, and you tip the boat over a little bit.
Yeah, that's what you have to kind of.
Yeah, I go to the one side.
Yeah,
I go to the one side in the bow. And
like when Sean and I got stuck with Virginia.
Oh yeah. And then what we would do is you bring the raft in, and what you do is you put the person on the floor. You let them sit on the floor, and so that they're facing you. So if you're in the bow, their neck and back is against the stern seat. You don't put them up in the top seat. You actually put them down sometimes. It depends. Anyway, you can put them up, and we bring them in. We used to do a lot of those, and they were really, really fun. But I remember once, and I got to tell you this because I wish I had a video of it. I have it in my mind. I could see it right now, even today. We had a big rescue.
Why didn't you take a video?
There was no videos back then. There was no cell phones.
What do you mean?
I love how he's laughing at that.
No. This happened probably back in like maybe 1980.
Yeah, why didn't you get a video?
How would I get
You
a
didn't
video?
have a Super 8
With
in your
the
back pocket?
phone.
Yeah, right. There was no phones then, knucklehead.
What do you mean?
There was no cell phones.
There was no phones?
No, not in 1980.
Nah.
They had car phones, right?
Yeah.
They had. You didn't have phones that are. You guys are funny. You're pulling my leg, right?
You could have recorded
Yeah,
it
right.
somehow.
So no, I couldn't unless you had
With your scroll and quill.
So it was Junie Boyd, which is Jay's father, right? And I'm trying to remember the exact thing, but we had a rescue, and there was people out there, and I wanted to go get him with the boat. And Junie, he was like a real showman, and the guy was unbelievable. We had on the back of the shirt. We have him riding the boat, just like
Cole, we got to get you a shirt before you leave.
yeah, just like Mike Jacobus. He rides the waves. He doesn't even use the oar. He just
Oh my God, it's beautiful watching him
Yeah,
go.
and there's he uses his body English and walks back and forth on the stern. He uses the boat like a surfboard.
He really does.
He has his own Van
He's
Dyne, too.
That's
Right,
like
right.
the
Pretty
next,
cool.
like he's like a longboarder. Like
Yes,
he pretty
yes.
much exclusively
Yes.
surfs like
Yeah.
12 foot
yeah.
plus. He has the stand up paddleboard.
Yeah.
That is like the ultimate evolution of longboarding.
Yeah.
Is surfing that boat the way he does.
So my point is, so Junie did that. So I was there, and I don't know if I went out with him, but anyway, I think he threw me out of the boat, and it was maybe like 2 or 3 girls, and I'm just trying to remember. But all I know is he took the boat, he got him in, and he rode a wave with like 3 people in the boat, rode a wave in. with civilians in the boat. I mean, just a showboat. That's how good he was. That's how crazy it was. And I remember that, and that was like, wow.
I feel like that would be against USLA regulations these days.
Well, you got him in. Listen. Here's the thing. Back
got
in
him
the
in.
day, let me tell you something.
Something tells me the people writing the USLA stuff don't know like that's even a possibility.
Well, when did I tell you what?
You're probably.
I'll give you
I
this.
don't think John Moore writes it. Is what I'm saying.
No. When did USLA actually start? And we didn't have USLA back in those days.
We've looked into this.
Yeah, it was like
remember right now.
79. Like I started in 77.
Definitely after Cole was born.
We had there was no USLA. There was none. When they first came out, yeah. But there
Cole,
was.
you think you would have made it back in those days?
I don't know, honestly. Well, it seemed like the workouts they did back then were really hard.
You would have been
compared to
fine,
right
Cole.
now.
but
Cole
Me
would
and
have
Cole
been
got
fine.
it into.
Yeah, but
that
you gotta
on the beach.
run 2 miles in 12 minutes before soccer this
Yeah,
year.
that's one of our fitness testing. We also have to
Did
do
you
like.
did you pass it?
He has to.
Of course I do.
Not yet. You haven't. You
No,
haven't
like I'm
passed
talking
it.
about like my other ones from the last 2 years.
What were the last two demands?
The first year as a freshman, it was a half mile in under 3 minutes, I think. And we had to do it.
That's easy.
Yeah. So we had to do it once, and there were 2 heats. So we went, they went, and we had to do that 3 times. So by the third time, I was like dry heaving, but I was like, I'm finishing this. I'm not passing. I'm passing this.
The dry heave after a college soccer preseason workout.
Oh yeah. This
That
one
is the
kid,
driest heave, dude.
this one kid threw up a bagel on the first lap.
I can
was
feel
like-
my uvula.
You know what it was with me was like, whenever we did like these time miles, or like I would always be like middle of the pack, like maybe even like towards the front.
Yeah.
But it had nothing to do with like my fitness. It was just because like, back when I was like really playing soccer, like I would just throw up before like I let you finish before me. It's not
So-
that I was like in shape. I would just like push myself that hard.
Why
I remember one time at OCC, like we finished a time mile, and I finished second of the whole team, and I collapsed onto my hands and knees and just like threw up through the fence on the turf field. Like, oh my God.
So why did you ask him though? Can he make it today? Like, what do you mean? Is
No,
a lifeguard
like-
then? I mean, could he make it back then?
Because it was different, man.
Nah,
It was different.
I could tell you.
You guys got in fights all the time.
No. Listen, I'm going to tell you something.
You guys
and-
made rescues with boats.
No.
Was that your call? Like, if you're gonna go on a boat rescue, do you
That's
have
a
to
good
ask,
question.
or are you
Yeah,
just gonna be
we
like, I'm
could.
taking
Well,
this out?
it wasn't going to happen. Yeah, you would. We had phones on our stands. They were actually little boxes that were on a pole, and so you get a phone call, or you would. It was a little bit different.
Imagine the backlash if I just radio up. I'm like, I'm gonna go get this guy launching the boat.
Yeah, but we would do it. We would
Just past the bar.
You just see Ty trying to throw the boat plug in.
You'd call up, and I mean, I'm trying to remember, but let me make a point though. You guys right now would be fine back then. You'd rise to the occasion. What we do today is just as demanding as then. Not everybody back in those days was a college swimmer, and they trained and they got really
I don't know,
good.
man. Everyone tells me that our generation is soft.
But not.
That we've been
but not,
coddled.
that's a generality. But specifically, you guys are fine. You train with the boats. See, the thing is, back in those days, the boats were pushed more. So when I first became a rookie, I would go to the bay after hours, and there was always a senior lifeguard like Steve Healy, and he would meet me down the bay. He was my coach in high school, and we would row. We would row for like an hour. He would take me in the bay. You would row every day. Rowing was encouraged. It was, and then when there was like a northeast storm, we'd go out there and ride waves. We never ever didn't go out in a boat. So you get really so used to it. I mean, now it's a little bit harder now because the boats are kind of like not really used for the rescues as much, and we focus on other things. But
It's not like a necessary rescue craft anymore until it is, right? Until a jet ski breaks down, or
not on our
you
beach.
can't get a board out.
But other
Atlantic
beaches.
City, it still is.
Yeah.
That's got to be it, right? That's got to be the only
Yeah,
place.
but the other thing like Cole now.
I think the Wildwoods do it too.
Yeah, but like,
Woods.
Yeah.
New Jersey, I think, is the only state that uses boats for rescues. I think that's what I
They
was told.
originated here.
Yeah.
So
But-
Cole,
so
junior lifeguard, then rookie 2-3 year, like kind of like younger lifeguard. Now you're like full blown senior guard.
Yeah.
When you think about little Aidan crushing the runs for JLGs, like what were you thinking about, like, you know, like your counselors and like when you saw these guys and girls, like, you know, doing the job, like what was going through your head, and when did you decide that you wanted to do it?
Well, I was generally very like excited to work with you guys once I actually started. You know, like I'm coming in here thinking like, oh, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna sit with Tyler and see like actually like the difference in conversations we'd have in junior lifeguards.
That's always funny is when, like, see, you've never like experienced this, when you go from being counselor to coworker, and it just like unlocks a new level of, like you said, conversation. Where
crazy
like,
flip. We went from talking about push-ups to other things. You know?
Yeah, or like
on
me
the
saying,
beach.
or like you know, me like being like, hey guys, like don't curse, and then we're up on the stand just like talking like sailors, you know?
Yeah, exactly. So I mean that was a big difference, but you guys gave me more like confidence to come in here. Like, hey, I know some people, like they've seen me run before, they've seen me like swim before, and they've seen me work out. You know.
So like taking your swim test, your first few days on the job as a rookie, were you nervous that you weren't going to be able to like rise to it, or because of the program were you like, oh, I completely got this?
Well, I think that program is a huge like benefit coming in, just because I feel like once you actually like working the job and from junior lifeguards, it's a difference, but like some of like the same situations are in there. Like I learned at JLG's like how to notice a victim. I noticed like other things, you know, that I wouldn't know before I started. So
were you cocky?
No.
Because of it?
No, it didn't make me cocky. It just made me want to like just see how good I could do like my first few days.
And now that you're a senior guard, is it how you thought it would be?
Yeah, no, I actually do think it is, just because you guys, like, we looked up to you, you know, and now since we had a huge drop-off, and now this year, since I'm one of the senior guys, I want to, like, have, like, the same relationship with some of, like, the younger guys, you know, just to try to teach them as quick as possible. So once, like, people like me are gone in a few years, they could run the beach.
Isn't it weird talking to the young guys and you know they're looking at you the way you used to look at people?
Yeah, no, it is. Yeah,
Right?
I agree. It is pretty weird, but
Do you try to talk to them like knowing, giving them the things that you wanted or that you got from the older guys?
no, because like you kind of just got to see like what they're like, and then like if you see like a strong wrestler, you'd be like, okay, this guy's gonna be good for like fights and stuff like that. If you have a swimmer, you know he'll be good swimming a rope can out. So
Just to clarify, we don't seek out fights, but if
Yeah.
it does happen, it's good to have a strong wrestler on your side.
or Tyler Andreas.
Continue. No.
one of those two.
I am the de-escalator if there ever was one. Hey guys, let's be chill.
Yeah,
That's
we
my
don't.
go-to.
We that's one of the things that we definitely do. We try to de-escalate. But I'm trying to remember Cole when you were like a rookie. But
I remember him talking a little smack to some older guards. I remember you
Yeah,
having a little bit of a lip.
Cole,
Well,
tell me the first time like you interfaced with me. Like, do you remember? I don't remember. I'm trying to remember now.
I remember.
What happened?
One of my
That-
favorite
that-
memories with Kashmar is one of the first few times we met each other. He was sitting on Hamilton.
Yo, he loves when we tell stories about how fucking crazy he is.
Yeah, all right. So we I'm sitting on
What happened, Cole?
So I'm sitting on Franklin alone, and he's sitting on Hamilton alone. And in between our stands, there's like this one girl who got hit by a few waves. All I see is Kashmar stand up, rip off his shirt, and then he put on his goggles and blew a runner. And I was like, I've never seen this happen before. You should have saw what he worked out in our rookie year.
Did you take
What's
the
that?
yellow?
Wait.
He looked like a
Did you really-
WWE wrestler.
Did you really Did you really do that?
Yeah.
He does it
I don't
every
remember.
time. He does it all the time.
Yeah, I love mine because like I don't want to get my eyes wet. I don't want to get water in my. It's salt water irritates my.
Were you already strapped up? Were they already on your head? Or
I don't
did you go
remember, yeah.
from
I
like,
was like, this girl's in waist deep water.
No,
like, why is he putting on goggles?
Cash carries them in his
oh,
waistband.
that's right. You waistband them. You
Yeah,
waistband
yeah,
them.
And then he used to swim in like
That is
one
so
of these
funny.
like things that looked like a mankini or something.
the
Oh, that's
drag
back in the
shorts.
day. Oh, that's
like
what.
drag
Yeah.
shorts.
I was like, Kashmar,
But my-
were you a WWE
Yeah,
wrestler or
you look
something?
like you're wearing drag
Yeah.
when you
You
wear
know,
those
you know the
shorts.
funny thing is, let me tell you a quick story about that, Cole. So, I trained, we used to I trained for years and years,
This
in
just got
Lavalette.
fun.
And all of us wear, we swim in college, so we wear our swimsuits, our
Your drag costume.
yeah, a drag. Well, actually, we do wear a drag suit. A drag suit. They're called drag suits. That's what they are.
Yeah.
And they're really, and they suck a lot of water, and then you wear, you put on a swimsuit, and we worked out for years and years like that all the time. And I had the body, and all of us, Joe, and none of us ever thought about it. And I remember
you had the what? Oh, no,
well,
where is it?
the body to handle that. But the thing is, I remember when I was about 45 years old. We're running on the beach. I said to Joe, I said, we can't be running. I said,
There he is.
There we go.
Hey, look at this guy.
Cole, do you know who's Cashmore right away?
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I'm like,
Everyone knows cash
we
flow.
can't. I said we can't be running with this stuff like this anymore. But the yeah, I don't remember when I started using the goggles. I'm so used to swimming with goggles, But there's guys who that's Joe.
Corner of his eye. Whoa.
Anyway, I'm trying to think, Cole. I can't remember any other rescues I did with you or whatever. But
No, but it was funny just because once I saw you running down, and I was like, does he know that this victim he's not even gonna have to put his head underwater for? So it's like this man's gonna come out with goggles on and not know where he's running.
Yo, that's worse than that kid taking his watch off before he went on his first rescue or going in with his wallet.
I'll tell you, this is years and years ago. This guy was an unbelievable athlete, unbelievable swimmer. He swam in college, right? And he used to work on Herring Avenue with my buddy Gene Lachenko. And
That's a great stand, by the way, to say.
yeah. So Herring,
You like sitting herring?
Yeah, it's not that I like sitting herring; it's that I grew up on
herring.
herring.
Yeah.
So we used to go up to the lifeguards as kids. So me and one of the other guards, Johnny DeVos, and that's where we sat growing up. So it was also fun. Just
That's also where lifeguards go to rot.
No. Back in the day, Herring Avenue was the big beach.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Because when the North End, because they had the hotels there. But let me make a point about you.
And there were bathrooms down there.
Right. But here's the thing. This one, his name was Corey DeArio, and he's still alive. Guy's an unbelievable athlete. He smoked cigarettes, but he was an unbelievable athlete. He swam in college. But I remember sitting with him because when we first started doing days off, I was the rotator. So I sat with every lifeguard. I had the opportunity to sit with everybody, at least once. And we're sitting there, and he's the senior guard. Because I'm moving around. So just out of respect, I mean, if somebody who's just as good swimmer as I am, they're going to take the loose. It's his stand. Anyway, he's smoking a cigarette, and somebody gets in trouble, and I'm getting ready, and he's like, no. In those days, you never. Well, even now. You don't go until the loose can says to go, your senior guard. And he's smoking a cigarette, and we're waiting, and he's like, he actually waited until he finished, a couple more drags, and then put the cigarette out on the stand, and
Puts it out on the sole of his foot.
and then we take off.
And then the goggles were coming on next too, right?
I don't know if I wore goggles back in those days. I don't think I did, but it was just so funny.
You didn't need 'em back then.
Yeah.
No, I was, but I'm just saying, as you talk about waiting, I mean, think about guys smoking cigarettes on the stand.
Imagine kids vaping on the stand.
Yeah. Just
How
right off of it.
ridiculous that would be.
That would just look dumb.
I sat with a guy. We got in trouble one year because everyone at this point was dipping on the stand.
Oh yeah, that was you guys were doing. That was
Yeah,
disgusting.
this is like 5 years ago. And the guy that I sat with got in trouble for it because we all did. And instead of spitting off the stand, which we were doing, just no water bottle or anything, just straight off into the crowd control. He couldn't spit off the stand, so he would spit on the stand between our feet.
Oh.
So by the end of the day, just brown spots.
Is this what I think you're talking about?
Yeah, it is. And I'm sitting cross-legged away from him because there's just brown spots all over the bench.
Bro, this guy.
His teeth were brown.
Yeah,
This
that's
guy,
disgusting. That's a terrible habit.
Honestly, awesome guy. Maybe some demons that he's dealing with,
Love to dip.
or has it, But, dude, this he used to sit Samson,
Yeah.
and just brown streaks down the whole side of the
and
stand,
so I do a cover, right? And
so disgusting.
The thing about
So
I'll do a cover, and I'm on a nice stand, my stand. I'm maybe hanging, and I got to run down to the cover, and I go to stand. You guys are,
And
whoever
you're standing in
and
the
there's
dip.
just friggin' a cup there with spit in it, disgusting. And I have to.
I'll tell you what. That is one part of Beach Patrol culture that I'm happy to see starting to be phased out. Is the
Yeah, not
dipping.
too many people do
They're all
that
doing
anymore.
zins now, though.
Yeah, but you know
It's a
what?
little
That's
cleaner.
not as bad. Yeah,
It's a little cleaner.
Yeah, it was bad. And the
Speaking of like organized stands, though, Cole, or no, you didn't help with that today, actually, you bastard.
what happened?
But me and a couple of the guys organized the south end storage container today.
Oh yeah.
It is beautiful.
It's about time. That
Good.
thing was dirty.
It is
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah, well, we never had time. We started right off the block. I mean, think about it. When you guys have been here long enough, even Cole, when's the last Memorial Weekend we had rescues at all? Usually the water's freezing cold. We have huge crowds, but I mean, we usually don't have really that much anything
I went
going
on a
on in the
rescue
water.
before Memorial Day once.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm talking about you.
for us, when was the last time we set up not before Memorial
That's
Day?
another whole thing. Yeah, that was.
Well,
That's
what's crazy about this, like Memorial Day weekend, like we weren't even supposed to work. I thought I was just going in there to get my gear. So I went on that rescue in like shorts, like not my uniform at all. I didn't have a whistle. I just looked like some random beach.
Somebody
baby.
had
how you
pants
know
on.
it's
Who had
based-
jeans on?
Johnny DeVoe.
John, one of our lifeguards. He was just there to help out move some boats. He had
Don't call him
jeans
out
on.
like that.
No, but we weren't. We
we weren't working.
We weren't working. I mean, this is what happens. A lot of beaches. I mean, everybody started. Nobody ever thought that Memorial Weekend the water would be that bad, and that many people. That was a record crowd on the boardwalk. I mean, Seaside Heights had. I don't know how, because Memorial Day wasn't that great.
Wild. The summer's gonna be wild.
But one thing I want to make a point about Memorial Weekend. Usually the runs cook at low tide, and I always like to. I remember I asked Rob that day we were setting up. When's low tide? When's high tide? And high tide was in the afternoon, 12, 1, 2 o'clock, which is when we were there. Rescue happened at almost dead high, which is amazing. That run was cooking. That's how bad that ocean was. It blew for 5 days. That was Friday, Memorial Weekend. That Monday, it was blowing northeast, right? And so all week long, and that ocean was really developed. I don't know how, waves weren't that big, but they,
It was there were definitely runs though.
yeah, I mean, it was a nice swell. That was a what do you call it? An organized swell, typically June swell coming from way out in the ocean. There was some powerful waves. They might have been 2 to 3, maybe a 4 foot every once in a while. Maybe, I don't know. If they were 5, I don't think they were that big, I don't remember.
I don't remember.
It was enough though. They were cooking. It was that's why Cole was so hard to pull those guys in, because the friggin' run was cooking so bad. You had a hard time.
It was very strong.
Say,
No,
tell
it was
people
strong.
how hard. I mean, how tough. Before I got down there, you guys were struggling, right?
Yeah, no, you need a bunch of guys, especially when you're pulling people out of a rip current. If the water's a lake, it's easier to pull in, just because you don't have to pull the current and the people.
It's a good thing we did those sled pulls today.
Oh
while
yeah,
training.
no, now I'm feeling good. My legs feel better.
Dude, I fashioned a sled as well.
Out of what?
I took an old rope box,
Okay.
strung. There's 2 holes on either side of the handle. Strung a rope through it, spliced the ropes, and turned them into handles. And then you just put the 2 25s in there, and it like drags a little bit of sand for some more resistance. Perfect.
Sounds
Great
good.
soccer
We did a full
workout.
workout using it today.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I got down
yeah.
there, Cole was hurt. They were huffing and puffing trying to pull them in.
Well, I was also in 58-degree water for a while too.
Yeah. How
Right
cold?
into pulling in a
That's
row.
warm, dude.
It was cold. How cold? How was it?
I wasn't freezing, but like you definitely were getting a little like
You get numb
tingly,
out there,
yeah.
So let me ask you real quick about the victim. What when you had him out there, was he pretty? Like, what
He
was
was
his
all
deal?
positive spirits.
But what was his deal? Where did he go in? He went on the southern beach. Like,
I don't
no,
know
nothing.
not what I'm talking about when I'm trying to get it.
Yeah, I understand.
Cole, what's like when? All right, off the bat, craziest rescue you've ever been on?
Craziest rescue I've ever been on was my 3rd year when I sat Franklin. So I was on the stand alone, and I was trying to get these 2 guys in, and I just told these guys, like, don't go out again, and they did. So while I was working them in, like, standing up, blowing them in, because, like, you can give 2 grown men that are, like, over 6 feet tall a chance to get in. Like, it's not like a kid where if you get a kid, you go in, like, immediately.
What if they're grown women?
Well,
Would you give them a chance?
More than a
give them
kid.
chance too.
Okay.
But yeah.
Wait him
so-
out a little bit. Yeah.
So I was waiting it out, and then this group of 4 little girls, as I was doing it, kind of got sucked out in that run too. So then once I saw that, I gave one of our lifeguards, Tomasello, who was sitting Hamilton, like a little wave, like, I'm going, so just get ready to rotate. So when I get out there, instantly, like, since the 2 guys, like, were almost standing, but they were just struggling to get in from the run, instantly had my attention to like the girls because they were like around like 10, 12 years old. So I had a bunch of them jumping on me. And then, so I was like, geez, I'm actually about to get drowned right now. So I was actually while I was waiting for the rope, I was underwater, like putting my foot up and just taking quick ducks of air. And then the rope finally got out there and we like connected. And
How many
then it
victims
was
did you
fine.
have? How many victims did you have?
It was
Cole?
6. It was me and
6
Scotty
people?
Giroux on that rescue.
No, but when you first got out there, you was 4 girls and those 2 guys?
Yeah.
And all in one can?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
I don't remember.
2 to 3 on my back, but
Oh,
the rest
man.
are on the can. So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, that's
That
a
can
bit.
floats a lot.
Yeah,
Don't they
no,
float like
definitely.
700 pounds?
Yeah, I forget what it is. Yeah, that's why we have the big cans. Some beaches have small. We have huge. I remember lifeguards coming up to up to our beach and going, "What the hell? That's the biggest can I've ever seen in my life." Because they have smaller ones, and I go, "Yeah, we have big cans." We
I
have
am
the extra large.
absolutely anal about which cans I take for my stand because the fat handle ones, I
Yeah.
can't do it.
well,
We have the
we have the
older
new-
like rounder ones.
Yeah,
And then the newer ones with the ergonomic
Yeah.
like skinny
Yeah,
handle.
yeah,
That's what I
yeah,
need.
yeah.
yeah.
Can't do the fat
I
handle.
remember my second year, you were sitting in Fremont and went on a snatch, and when you jumped over a wave, like the strap and the torque broke on the can. I don't know if you
remember
remember
that.
that. And then the can washed up, and you just grabbed the victim.
Yeah,
and
that was
got
like
out,
late in the
but-
summer. I was actually sitting in the stand with Troy on like a break or something. And I remember, I think I was just like jogging from stand to stand and I saw
Yeah.
it. And then that's why we always take a can with us. And then I saw it and I just took off running. Like the girl, like it wasn't like a rip necessarily. It was just like that funky, like gully
She loses her
feeding
footing,
into
yeah.
the rip. And yeah, she was just struggling. I jumped in and I'm like, as I'm like getting out there doing, getting through the sandbar, I'm like, man, I have never moved this fast on a rip. I was like, I must look so good right now.
He's
Like,
thinking.
I'm
He's
flying.
thinking. Was it Baywatch?
Yeah, I'm
You
like
envision Baywatch show.
full Hasselhoff. And
Were you going
I
slow motion?
I get to the
Were
girl.
did you start slow motion it?
I get to the girl and I stand up. First of all, we're in like thigh deep water, and I'm just like holding this little girl, and I go to like, or actually I get to her and I go to like, what I do is like
Slide the can or
I slide. I'm pretty smooth with it. It's like a
Yeah.
twisting turn, especially when you're like, you can't touch. It's like a twist turn.
no, yeah, you just want to get it
And
off
I
as
go
quick
to
as
do
possible.
that, and I pull the strap, and I'm like, where is my can? And I look back, and it's just like floating. Like, luckily, I could just walk her in. But
Yeah. No, I was just sitting there. I was like, I just see your can wash up, and I was like, dude, I've never seen this before.
And that's another thing. Our beach, we use cans with very, very short leashes. So when you're swimming, the can's almost like on your thigh or your butt, so that's how short. We've experimented, and other beaches use a long leash. I like them in big ocean because you could dive and, but what happens with those, our beach is so crowded. When you go for a
Smacks someone right
rescue,
in the
you
face.
smack somebody in the head. As you're swimming out, that can's rolling all over the
Or
place.
especially on that
Right.
first dive, and you
Yeah.
chuck the can behind
Yeah,
you.
yeah, it's dangerous. It hurts
Yeah.
people. We've had, so we abandoned that. But I when I work out, I like to have the can on a leash, because I don't like going out there, especially in the middle of summer. You get the boats, even go out to a buoy. But
Why not use the soft torp in surf?
you could use that.
Like what would be the difference?
You mean a soft one, the one
Like,
that's
why not
with the
use
jet
it
ski
the-
one?
I think it's
long
just
one.
less buoyant overall.
You think?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, it doesn't have handles. You see, a lot of beaches in Brazil, and I've been in other countries, that's what they have. They have one lifeguard. They take that soft one with fins. These guys, I've talked to these guys. They don't go out without fins. A lot of these guys are not real good swimmers, but with fins, it changes the whole game. So they swim out. They get that buoy. They give it to you. They snap it. You hold on to it, and now you got it around you. So you're not even with a wave. You're not gonna. You'll probably be okay. And then they swim you in, and they can swim regular swim, freestyle, and with the fins, and they pull them. That's how a lot of places make rescues.
Yeah,
it's
but,
one person with fins and that buoy. That's why that buoy. But for us, if we have 3-4 victims, look, think about it. Cole had 6-7 people on one can. I mean, they were hanging on him, but nobody drowned. And it is tough, but that's why I always say too, you know, you need to have more people. You just don't wait for the rope can. We all know that when a situation's like that, Cole, I always tell these lifeguards, one lifeguard for each victim. So, you know, like 6 people, 7 people, I would have put 6, 7 lifeguards out there. But, you know, if you have to, I mean, you know, no, but sometimes these people are incapacitated.
I would say more lifeguards, but we don't need 6 guys in the water.
No, but it's nice to have. It's not. No, but if you have 6,
that's
7,
the time you can do that.
yeah, it depends. It really depends on how you know the little girls and everything. But anyway, that's a judgment call. But the point is though, that soft can is not. You know, it's not applicable. It's only good for one person. That's the point.
Something I remember from that Memorial Day rescue when we were swimming in, since the strap is like so like small, obviously I was just getting hit in the back of the head when I was swimming in with the waves. So that's also another thing.
Yeah.
With the
Cole, hold that mic a little
straps,
closer
too.
to your face.
I got you.
Yeah, you. What happens is the wave will push it. You know, you have to swim fast enough. And when that happens, you got to switch the can on the other side, and because if the waves are coming left or right, yeah, that's a pain in the ass. I've had that happen too. You know, that's tough when you're going in, especially if the wind's coming off the ocean, like it's if northeast. Now the can's being blown into you, so that is
It's
difficult.
fun. It's kind of funny watching the new guys and girls struggle with that. Like they go to swim out, and they're like, "What is that?" Like,
How can you swim with this?
They come out with a huge rash too. They're like, I've never had this
oh
before.
the
rope can rash.
the rope can rash.
So we give the test. You know,
I had a really bad one from my senior guards. That was like
we
lasted me all summer.
We had 2 guys who, when we were swimming out the rope to the boat, a speedboat or a boat would come flying down, and I remember 2 guys specifically. I know their names. I could still see it. And the rope, the boat went in between the boat and the rope, and it caught the rope. It dragged both of them for a while. One guy had such a burn. I mean, it was bad. And thank God the rope, the propeller cut it or broke, because they both would have drowned. And that happened twice. And
You gotta be careful with shit. Like one time, Dan Caputo and I took the jet ski out to pick up the cinder block for a buoy.
yeah,
So I pull the cinder block back up, and I'm like, all right, we're good. As I'm like pulling over the edge, and the second I said we're good, he takes off.
Ooh.
And I dropped the block and went to grab the rope, and it just wrapped around my finger, and he's going, and I'm like screaming, Dan! I thought I was gonna lose my finger.
yeah.
Like
yeah.
it stripped like all the skin. It almost like degloved my finger.
You got to be careful. The forces. So we had one of the lifeguards, Mike Ward, and we used to have, when the pier was real far out, you had fishermen on the pier all the time. And I don't know if he was just training or making a rescue or going to, I don't remember exactly.
Ward.
Yeah.
Twiggy.
And what happened was he had a vest on. Thank God he had a vest on.
And
what
the radio.
happened, in the radio, and what happened is he didn't see the fishing lines, and he hit a fishing line. Because, you can't see them going that fast. And it cut, where did he have that cut? His arm? It cut his arm. He still has a scar from it.
Like a deep scar on his.
Yeah. And what's,
Like right there.
I mean, it could have cut his head off.
It's like the camera's on me, so I might as well.
Yeah. I mean, it was a bad one. So yeah, so it was a bad one, man. That was, you never know with that stuff. It's kind of crazy. But the cans though, Cole, that was a good rescue. I don't remember that one, but maybe I wasn't there that day. But it's
What
good.
about your first rescue? Remember who that was with? What that was?
So my first rescue, I was sitting with one of our older guards, who's now a police officer, Sean Bernardo. So
Bernard.
This day was like, the water was like a pool, so we were not like we were more chill on the stand, but like we weren't expecting like, oh, we might have to go any 2 seconds right now. So out of nowhere, we were just looking, and he just jumps off the stand and goes, "We're going." So I actually forgot to take my shades off, so I put the can on, and then I'm just running in the water. I was like, oh, I got my shades on, so I just tossed them off. And then, yeah, we didn't really even need the yellow, but it never hurts to take out the yellow just in case you need it. So.
Did you lose did anybody get your glasses, or they were gone?
Oh, no, I got them back right after, because I kind of threw them behind me. But yeah.
Because we really, like in the junior lifeguard program, we really do focus on like, at least these kids are going to know our procedures by the time they graduate this program. When you went on your first few rescues, did you experience any like confusion or panic over like the way we rotated and what the run whistle meant and like all that? Or were you like good to go?
No, I'd say I was good to go just because I did that camp for like 3 to 4 years.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not like I took it for a few days and then left. So I pretty much knew the whole rescue procedure. But
Especially since we do the exact same thing every year. You
oh
probably
yeah, no, I picked up on it pretty quick. But yeah, no, it made it easier, definitely.
How many guys we have now? Who's left that was in the program? Anybody else? Who else do we
Nico,
have?
Johnny, this
Stalkneck.
guy.
Yeah,
Kate,
Stoffneck.
I don't know.
No. Stalkneck.
Stalkneck,
How many
yeah.
years is Stoffneck now?
3.
He's a 3-year now.
Wow.
Cashmore's favorite.
Is Julie done?
I know.
Julie's not working this summer at all.
I haven't seen her.
She'll probably.
I talked to her. She said she's going to try.
Yeah.
But she's got a
She's a lifer.
She's what do you call it? She's got a clerkship or something with a judge. I forget.
She'll be
it.
around.
said she
She's
wants
gonna
to
be like Jacobus.
She said
like-
she wants to be a councilwoman. Did you hear that?
Oh, I know.
That's awesome.
Julie's gonna make moves.
Yeah.
Cole, are you a lifer?
I mean, I want as much as I want to. I doubt it, but I definitely have a few more years left in me, full time.
So
Good.
you think once you hang up the whistle to go do big boy job, that's it? You'll never come back?
I mean, I'll definitely come back for some days to chill on the beach, talk to some of the guys that I still know that are there. But I mean, I could work a few days, but at the same time, like, if I don't have the time for it and I'm working another job with a bigger commitment,
Oh,
I
of
feel like
course.
you just have to do that.
You know, eventually you're going to have
Prioritize
to
that.
get,
Well,
yeah.
I feel like I don't know. It's like you fall so in love with the place that like
That's what I'm saying. Everybody up at school is always like, why is lifeguarding the only thing you talk about? And I'm like, and it was the same thing with my girlfriend. And then she came up and met all the guys and it's like, that's the only thing they talk about too. So
You know,
it's
it's
you
funny.
Just fall in love with it, you know.
It's funny how it works. I just recently, maybe last year, I'm at some restaurant somewhere, maybe New York City. I forget where it was, and I'm in a suit and tie, and I'm with Virginia, and all of a sudden, and it's very professional. Everybody's like cool. It wasn't like some crazy bar. It was very sophisticated, very And all of a sudden, I hear "Yo, Kajmar," some guy who I used to lifeguard with, and he comes over and he's like, "This guy was unbelievable." The whole thing. We had rescue, and all of a sudden, it deteriorated into like a lifeguard, reunion. And it was so funny. I mean, it when you meet another lifeguard that either you worked with or they do the same thing you do. It's an amazing thing. I used to go down to Florida and do tournaments down there in the wintertime. And, I'd meet guys and gals, and you would just, at the bar, and it would be like instantaneous, because you had a commonality. It was pretty good. And I tell you, I'm a doctor. I go seminars. And you do the same thing a little bit, but I tell you what, there's something about lifeguarding that is whoever lifeguards are a different breed, especially if they've done it for multiple years.
I think that there's obviously a lot of pride associated with it, and I think my best guess is that it has a lot to do with like the athletic side of it.
Yeah, a lot of people,
and because it is like a team camaraderie, you feel very similar to playing on a college soccer team or any team for that matter.
Right. I think though is that,
and it attracts those types of people.
Right. And
Exactly.
think about this: we go into an environment that most people are shit scared of. They can't survive in it, and
I
we
was
thrive.
shit scared of
right,
it.
right. But we like no, and we survive in it. We actually have fun in it, and like I'm at all with the big the surfers who surf 20, 30 foot waves. I mean, that's killer stuff. If you don't know what you're doing, you're dead. So it's kind of like that. People, I think that they look at us and they're like,
I
wow.
bet you could rip a 20-foot wave in a Van Dyne.
No. I used to go out in big stuff. I mean,
I think
I
you could
anymore.
too, Cash.
No. I mean, listen.
Screw it.
I tell you what I did. I used to go out and hurricane surf all the time. We'd ride waves. We'd take the jet ski out.
That's like 11 foot max.
Yeah, we don't get them around here after hurricane.
Not even close.
How's
no,
training
no.
in the bay gonna help out with
No.
that?
Yeah.
one?
I'll tell you what.
I think the biggest.
if there's one person, if you were like, yo, I'll give you, I think he'd go for it for like $10,000. It would be Kenny.
I was gonna say Kenny. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kenny
No, there's
Doherty?
we had
Yeah.
guys.
Oh,
Listen,
Kenny
okay.
was
I,
Kenny.
yo, I
No,
saw
100%.
Kenny drop into like a 6-foot tube
yeah,
The way
with a Van Dyne.
yeah. No, we did.
And
The
just
way-
got swallowed alive.
the way that Jacobus is like makes it look easy and effortless. Kenny like battles the boat while he's doing it. Like it's like a fight. It's awesome to watch.
Listen, the guys down in South Jersey. I mean, first of all, the waves we get here on a big day I mean, I 3 to 5, maybe 4 to 6. You know, I don't think that. You know, I don't think that. But I've surfed, you know, those kind of waves. You get two guys who know what they're doing, two people.
You're not getting a 20-foot wave cache.
No.
Okay.
We don't have 20-foot waves
Okay,
around here.
I know.
I'm just saying as though that, you know, I've surfed some of the biggest stuff here. I wouldn't go out. You're not going to go out unless it's clean. But the super big stuff, yeah, you got to be careful. Those guys down in
Is
South
it
Jersey will do it.
possible?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do it. The South Jersey
okay,
guys.
so like what's the
biggest wave?
No. Surfing
Nazare.
I mess that up every time. There's like an obvious like risk reward thing going on, but like once you dial it in,
It's still risky.
it's still risky, but you know you can do it.
I tell you what's a good
like,
question.
A lot of people have done it many times without drowning.
here-
it's
So what is that?
very
What
risky.
is that? I know it's very
No,
risky, but like these people, it's doable.
Yeah,
And,
so
like,
what-
it's doable, like repeatedly. People
but-
have gone back and back
Right,
and
but-
back. What is that risk reward with tackling the same type of wave with a Van Dyke?
Right, well,
I
I-
bet the risk is a lot higher.
I think but I think the more important question is how big of a wave can you ride a boat with in other words, a Van Dyne boat? What's the biggest wave that's ever been attempted to ride, and what can it handle?
I don't even know if like the speed.
You know what I'm saying?
No, I don't like the speed that you would need to get a wave that big.
Right.
I don't even know if it's possible
No.
in Van Dyne.
So what
You
would be
could
the
get-
limit?
You could just get it towed.
From like
No,
a speedboat, like I guess
no.
if there's
But
a will,
what-
there's a
a
way.
jet ski.
If there's a crazy enough guy to drive the speedboat, and
Yeah.
that's
No, you do a jet ski. A jet ski could
Do you
pull
think a
a
jet
Van
ski
Dyne.
could pull a Van Dyne
Yeah,
quick enough?
Yeah, well, I don't know, but here's the thing: what has been the biggest wave that a Van Dyne has been?
My
I bet you down in
guess-
South Jersey they've done at least 6 foot
Yeah.
waves.
My guess is 6 to 8.
Yeah, well, we don't get really that big of waves, bigger than that, you know. But Sean makes a good point. Any bigger than that, it'd be tough. But the
Well,
boat
it's
17.
tough to get waves that big with just like a
There's waves.
beach break.
Massive, massive oars. Like you could get speed. It's just
Yeah, we got to find out. I'm going to ask
what
Joe.
would be the biggest wave you can ride on the Natch without getting pulled?
Yeah, we have to ask.
You said you need big oars.
yeah.
We have to find out. But I can tell you, I've done big waves. I mean, not in the seaside. I mean, I've definitely done 5-6 foot waves. You know, and
Have you ever seen anyone ride a wave like into the pilings? Has you ever seen that happen?
I've come real close. I tell you where we've gone into close to the jetty in La Valette. We used to ride real close to the jetty, and you know, but we would dive out and control the boat. I mean, we'd be able to control the boat. If I wanted to slow that boat down, I tell you what. Once I was riding waves, and I went over a group of people. They all had to duck down, like 5-6 people. They just dove down, and I went over them. And I got chewed out like. Oh, I got in big trouble. I didn't hit anybody, thank God. They all dove. But, you know, I don't know. I just wasn't paying attention. Or the lifeguards on the beach weren't moving the people, you know.
Oh, totally their fault.
Yeah,
totally
definitely not Cash's.
Not my fault.
So Cashmart, have you ever flipped a boat before?
Oh, all the
Yeah.
time. Million times. We're riding waves. I tell you, I'd give you one. We used to go out on northeast storms all the time. And he's a retired individual now. His name is Bobby Omar. He used to run the North End. And him and I would go out. And it would be it's a northeast storm. I mean, northeast, raining. We get out there and, you try to get through a run. And we rode a wave in and just right at the end, we flipped it. But I've had times where I know what happened. We got hit by a wave. I don't know what happened. I lost an oar. I dove out to get the oars. And as I'm getting the one oar, he catches a wave and comes right over my head, and yelling like in excitement. So yeah, but real dangerous is on the bar. You have to be real careful because when you're riding a wave in,
I've rode right into the bar.
and then you
bow in.
yeah, and
And flip like a pancake.
yeah.
Stern into the.
Yeah.
That's a dangerous flip too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, I landed
yeah.
on my leg. It fucking. I didn't hurt anything, but it hurt.
Yeah, we've had lifeguards who flipped the boat and they were inside the boat.
Yeah,
You
no,
know,
Kyle Day was in the boat
Yeah.
when I did that.
Yeah,
I thought I killed him.
Yeah. Now I tell you, maybe I flipped it, but only maybe once or twice. Then I learned my lesson. So what I would do is when I see the wave coming, I dive out. I learned how to dive out of the boat.
So you still flipped the boat, you just weren't
Well,
in
I
it.
tell you what, we've had times where I remember, riding waves with Joe Casino and we start to go sideways, and we would both go to the ocean side and push down, and the wave would just crash over our head. So that's the captain.
Oh, Joe Casino.
And the captain of that's Atlantic City captain. That guy's a legend down there, man. He's a legend. Anyway, you would learn how to not flip the boat, if you had two guys. See, Van Dynes are made for two guys, two people. I can't say just men, but two people. And you could go through a northeast storm. You get that boat out in northeast storm. You can, because that's what it's made for. Hurricane surf is different. I'm not saying that. But a typical northeast storm, if you really know what you're doing, you could get that boat out.
Well,
that's what it's made for.
It gets sketchy when the waves start like standing up from like an offshore wind.
Yeah.
Because then they just dump right into the boat, as opposed to kind of crumble and push.
You got to go through a rip current. Like that day that Sean was out there, it would be no problem going through that out in that run. I mean, you don't even have to row.
Tyler wasn't there to know what it looks like.
I know, but he's seen big runs.
Like
you could throw that boat in the run and it'll go out by itself almost.
I saw the
you were
ocean
there, I
that
remember,
weekend.
but
I tell you but you guys surf.
No, that was right after I left that day.
that,
right?
I know you were there.
I tell you, when you talk about the pier, I mean, how many times when I used to surf and Casino Pier went out really far, we would go there and we would, because we surfed on that south side of this Casino Pier. We all go out right through the pilings. We would run there. It would run, and there would be big waves crashing. And the only problem is that you just got to be careful, time it. But you go right out, man, and it would be no problem. I remember once in Lavalette, it was a big ocean, and we were working out, and the girls, I was assigned to them. We were going to go out and paddleboard. Nobody wanted to go out. Everybody was shit scared. And I'm like, no, watch. And I, went right through the jetty. They were afraid to go near the jetty, because that's where the run was, but they thought they were going to get hurt. I go, no, you're going to be fine. And they're like, well, then you go. And I went right out, so, but you could get the boat out. We used to have contests back in the day, and this was like 77, 78, 79. People would put money on the table, $50, who would go out in the biggest day. And I remember sitting with this guy, Pat Brown, and it was like a nasty day. I don't think it was a hurricane surf, but there was big waves. How big, I don't remember. And he's like, I'm taking a boat out. And he'd go out, and I'm waiting for him to get douched. And he made it out, man. So,
good douche.
Yeah, so anyway, we're like an hour and a half. Anything else you want to start saying goodbye or what? What do you think, Cole? Did you have a good time today?
Oh, I had a great time. Big fan of the show. So
Yeah, you listened
No,
to
you're
us?
not. Don't lie.
I wanted to make a quick appearance.
What's the last episode you listened to? Name the guest.
I watched Shoix.
All right,
So I'm just kidding. I sent that in the chat the other day.
So listen, Tyler, anything to mention? We
like us, follow us, subscribe to us,
turn on
subscribe from us.
notifications.
Sean, what do you got to say?
All right,
Anything?
Jazz.
Turn on notifications. Check us out.
All right, Cole. You are the captain at the end of the day, making the announcement. Go.
What's the last thing Cap says?
Stay out, stay alive.
There you go.
Stay out,
and
stay alive. Thanks, Cole. Thanks for coming, man. We appreciate you.
Oh, anytime.
All right,
Very happy to be here.
bye-bye.